Metal detectors can find a lot of gold, including big nuggets. Ever want to be a part of that? Metal detectors can be expensive and you don't want to buy the wrong one. So don't buy one until you've watched this video. I'm Chris Ralph, the professional prospector, and today we're talking about don't buy a metal detector until you watch this video. We're going to talk about 10 considerations that you need to think about before you buy so that you get the right detector and you don't waste a lot of money. I mean, literally, you can spend huge amounts of money buying a detector, and more than a few guys I know have spent big money buying a detector, and then after the fact, they kind of regret what they bought. That, well, I wish I would have bought this other one. So you need to think about it first, and we're going to talk about those considerations that you need to make. If you watch this video, you'll save yourself time and money. Now, I get asked all the time, what detector should I buy? And honestly, I can't decide for you. There is no one detector that's the best overall, also the best and the cheapest and the superest and everything else. I'm sorry, they're all different and they all have various trade-offs that you have to make. And so what I want you to do is to make some considerations and think about it and decide for yourself what's best for you. You need to do research on the different kinds of detectors that are out there, the features that they offer, the prices that they sell at, and knowing the costs and understanding the kind of environments and places that you'll be detecting for gold. That'll really help you, and this guide will make sure that you buy the perfect detector for you. Now first, why even buy a detector at all? Nugget detecting is difficult to learn, and it takes a while to get the hang of it, but the potential for big finds is tremendous. But like I say, they can be expensive, and I mean really expensive. And accessories are costly on top of that. One of the first things I want you to understand is what a detector can do and what it can't do. Because I get a lot of questions of like, hey, I want a metal detector that will detect, I'm looking for a treasure and I want something that will detect 10 to 20 meters deep. So we're talking 30 to 60 feet. And basically the answer is there is no detector like that. Detectors are made to detect gold, or if you get a coin machine or a multi-purpose machine, coins and that kind of thing, generally at depths from the surface down to, you know, maybe a foot. And if you have something big, of course, you can dig something bigger. I've found big nuggets bigger than a foot deep, but you know, okay, maybe 18 inches, maybe 2 foot if you got something good sized, multi-ounces, right? So, you know, you're not going to be digging nuggets at 10 or 20 feet. That's crazy. You know, if you dig a 10-foot deep hole, you got danger of caving. You'll need a shoring to hold it up so that the hole doesn't cave in on you. And digging a 10-foot hole, it's not something you do in 5 or 10 minutes. You know, if you have a backhoe, it'd take you an hour. So one of the things I want you to understand is how deep your detector will go. So the next thing I want you to think about is, what are you going to do with it? I mean, are you going to go out once in a while and look for gold? Are you going to hunt mostly in parks and schools for coins and lost jewelry, or maybe on beaches? You know, there's different things you can do with a metal detector. For me, I mostly do nugget detecting, but other guys do a multiple of different things. So you need to decide for yourself, what will I be doing with my metal detector? Do I want a multi-purpose detector? Do I want a detector that can do coins and discriminate well in the park and school, and at the same time go out and do some nuggets? Yes, there are detectors like that, but they're trade-offs, okay? Every choice you make, you know, on what you want to do, if you say, I'm just going to do nuggets, well, the trade-off is probably your machine isn't going to be a great machine for hunting coins at parks and schools. Then you say, well, I want a multi-purpose machine that hunts coins, you know, hunts gold, does everything. Well, there's compromises that you're making. So when you just do coins, or you do a multi-purpose machine, you're going to be you know, losing some of the sensitivity. If you just get a coin machine, a machine that's designed maybe only as an afterthought, it says that can do gold, that machine will only find larger pieces of gold. It won't be as sensitive, it won't be able to handle the bad ground mineralization as well. And so there's trade-offs in everything you do. You get a gold machine, you're not going to do so great at coins, and you get a multi-purpose machine, you're going to lose a little bit of the gold. You get a coin machine, you're going to lose a lot of the gold. So you need to know what you're going to do with it before you can make a decision. The next thing you need to do is decide on a budget. And coin machines are much cheaper. Generally speaking, the multi-purpose machines are a little cheaper, but the gold machines tend to be the most expensive. And you need to decide for yourself what your budget is. Can you afford a $4,000 machine? Can you only afford a $1,000 machine? Can you only afford a $300 machine? Well, you're going to need to think about this. And what I tell people is always get the best metal detector that you can afford for your budget. And you really should consider saving up for it. If you say, well, I could maybe afford $300, that would kind of crush my budget for the next month or two. Well, maybe you should just sit down and think about it and save money for 3-6 months, maybe more, and get an even better machine. And there's an advantage to that saving time, because it allows you the time to think about what's on the market, think about what choices you're going to make, decide what you want to do for yourself, what you're going to use your detector for, and maybe go to a gold club outing. Join a gold club in your area if you're not already a member. Go out, see other guys using their detectors, talk to them. Well, hey Joe, how do you like that detector you have? And he'll tell you his opinion. You may think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He may tell you, I wish I'd have bought something else. Our next factor I want you to do is to know what's available. Get in there and find out what's available on the market. Like I say, everything is a trade-off. If you want to be good at that, well, it won't be so great at this. Even for gold nugget oriented machines that are, the engineers designed it with gold nugget detecting in mind. Even those machines have their trade-offs. You can get a VLF, which is less expensive and has much better discrimination, but you're going to find problems with hot rocks and mineralization. Now, maybe your area doesn't have that bad a problem with hot rocks and mineralization. The next of our considerations is to avoid Chinese knockoff detectors, period. End of sentence. Look, there's some Chinese detectors that work sort of okay, not very well, but maybe they're okay for coins and things in parks, because generally speaking, a coin is like a nickel. Let's just use a nickel as an example, a US nickel. US nickel is roughly equivalent to a 1/4 ounce nugget. And so, they're designed to see things that kind of scale. But yet, I've found lots of nuggets, many much bigger than a 1/4 of an ounce. But the thing is, the vast majority of the gold I find is in number of nuggets have been things a lot smaller than a 1/4 of an ounce. Avoid the Chinese knockoffs. And that's why I say buy from a reputable dealer. And I'll repeat this, but buy from somebody who's reputable, who, if you have a problem, you're not going to get stuck with it. Now, new metal detectors is better, but buying used can save you a lot of money. And like I say, when you're on a budget, having a detector that costs a little bit less money can be a good thing. Too many guys get into nugget detecting. They're very enthusiastic. They're going to get out and find loads of gold. And they go out a couple of times and they find a load of trash, and they just give up. Okay, the metal detector, and their enthusiasm evaporates. Their metal detector goes into the closet, and the metal detector in a closet can gather only dust. It's a shame, because if they'd spent more time, put more effort into it, and learned it better, they could have been successful. And I will tell you that you can find a lot of gold with a metal detector, but it's a lot of work to learn how to do it and learn this. It's a skill. What you want to do is, if you buy a used one, make sure that you see it work. You test it out, and don't test it out with a giant object. Test it out with something small and test it out and see that it works. See that it's fully functional before you buy. I've heard of some stories where guys who bought these cheap Chinese knockoffs, they went and found out that they don't work, and then they put them back up on the market and put them for a good price. Hey, this $4,000 detector, it's only $1,500. And you think, well, gee, hey, there's a great bargain. And you go over there and the guy says, well, you know, it's broken. I never really sent it back to the repair, to the manufacturer for repair. So, you know, you can send it back to the manufacturer. I'm giving you an extra $1,000 off. And, you know, it might cost you $200 to get it repaired, but I'm knocking $1,000 off. So you're, you know, in great shape if you take this detector. Well, what happens is you buy the detector, you pay the money, you send it to the manufacturer. The manufacturer opens it up, looks in there, sees that the guts are not their stuff, looks at the detector and says, yeah, this is one of those cheap Chinese knockoff things, and sends it back to you and says, oh, we can't repair this, it's not repairable. Next is buying from someone reputable. Now, some dealers offer training. When you purchase a metal detector from them, they'll actually take you out. Now, you have to travel to them. So if your dealer's in Arizona, you know, you'll have to travel to Arizona. But if you live in Arizona, that's great. If you're someplace else and you buy a dealer from them, you know, you'll get training. If you live in Idaho, there's a dealer in Idaho that offers training. Think about that. Getting from someone reputable, you'll know that you're not buying a used piece of junk. You're not buying something that won't be repaired by the manufacturer. You'll buy something that the dealer stands by. Next, I want to talk to you about reading the manual and practicing with your detector. A lot of guys will buy a detector, maybe they'll put it together at their house, okay, and then they take it out in the field for their first trip, and surprise, surprise, they don't actually already know how to work it. It's not just like you turn it on and start going looking for things to beep. It's a little more complex than that. So they'll, you know, you need to read the manual and practice with it at your house. Get familiar with it. Now, I want to be super duper clear on this. I don't offer training. You know, I do get people all the time asking me, hey Chris, will you take me out and do metal detecting with me? Hey, will you show me how to use my detector? Hey, I'm not a dealer. I'm not looking to sell metal detectors. I'm a prospector. And number 9, I want you to know that it takes time to learn. It's a skill. And just like, you know, if you wanted to be a plumber or an electrician, you don't learn that in 5 minutes. If you want to be an expert golfer, you know, you're not going to learn that in half an hour. It takes time to learn. It's a skill. And real skills are not learned in 5 minutes. A lot of guys get really excited about the idea of finding gold, and then that's a good thing. Gold fever, it's real. But you got to be accepting that it takes time to learn any skill and effort and work. And you got to accept that to be true. A lot of guys, you know, and this happened to me when I was working a full-time job, 8 to 5. You know, I didn't get out to prospect very often. You know, I'd been doing it for decades, but, you know, a few days here, a few days there. And, you know, if your expectation is to strike it rich immediately, I'm sorry, you're going to be disappointed. You're 150 years too late. So have an attitude in advance that you're never going to give up, you're never going to surrender, you're going to do what it takes to be successful at finding gold nuggets with your metal detector. And I tell you, if you hold on to that attitude and work at it, you will be successful. So never give up, never surrender, enjoy the ride. And what kind of goes with that is number 10, you need to be able to get out and use it. You know, if a lot of guys, I get contacted by us and saying, hey, I'm going to retire in the next 6 months or a year, and I want to get into nugget detecting. Great, that's a good thing. I got to admit that since I've left 8 to 5 work, you know, I get out 20 times more prospecting than I did when I was, especially when I was working an 8 to 5 job and I had kids and, you know, I was responsible for the house and our income and everything else. And so, you know, I love my wife and I love my kids, but now that the kids are on their own, I have a lot more free time to go out and do prospecting and enjoy myself and have fun with that kind of stuff. We're about 150 years too late for the gold rush. You know, the easy gold was got by the old timers, and now it takes a little bit more work to find it, a little bit more work to get it. Of course, the old timers never had a tool like a metal detector, so we have that advantage on them. But it's still, you know, there have been people working for gold for a long time. And so nowadays it takes knowledge and skill to be successful at finding nuggets. And that is why I wrote a book, because it makes all the difference in the world what you know. My book is basically an encyclopedia of prospecting with a little bit of geology, a little bit of metal detectors, a little bit of how gold deposits and all kinds of related stuff. It's basically an encyclopedia of gold finding. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my book right now. This is my book, Fistful of Gold. And like I say, it's an encyclopedia of prospecting. And, you know, if you want to go out and find your own nuggets, you want to go find your own gold, you want to be successful, well, it's about what you know. The guys who are finding gold, they have a knowledge. It's a skill. You know, I sometimes compare it to like being an electrician. Just buying a voltmeter at Home Depot doesn't make you a journeyman electrician. And having a sluice box or a metal detector or gold pan doesn't make you a successful prospector. It's about what you know, right? And that's why I wrote this book. Like I say, it's an encyclopedia. It has stuff that really is for beginners. It has stuff that's for mid-level guys that have learned the basics and want to learn more. And it has even some more advanced things for guys that have some experience but want to learn even more. And I've actually run into people in the field where they tell me something and I say, well, that's a pretty advanced concept. Where'd you learn that? And then they said, I read your book. So, you know, it has a real high rating on Amazon, and it's available either from Amazon or from High Plains. Now, High Plains Prospectors, they're an outfit that's a mail order prospecting equipment dealer. They have everything you can imagine, from, you know, a simple gold pan through basic metal detectors all the way to high-end metal detectors and other stuff. If you need it for the prospecting games, High Plains has it. And you can get a discount code with them. You know, if you order something from them, use the discount code Chris Ralph. It's CHRISRALPH in all caps, no space in between Chris and Ralph, and you can get a discount off of what you're buying from them. And then they have my book. You can get my book from them. And so they're really great guys, and I've dealt with them for a while, and I'm happy to recommend them because, like I say, they're good dudes. So if you want to learn more about prospecting, consider my book, Fistful of Gold. And be sure to take a look at my YouTube episodes. I've got lots of videos and lots of information on YouTube. And, you know, I oftentimes get people say, hey, Chris, why don't you make a video on XYZ, right? And it's like 90% of the time, it's like, I already have a video on XYZ. Take a look. And so if you're interested, look at my back catalog of videos, because there's a lot of good information there. And we'll see you in the next video.